Hello, I'm Janusz Lewiński and you're watching Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. Russia's masterclass in sanctions evasion is alive and well, of course, this time with a creative little scheme called false transit. According to an investigation by the website Important Stories, Russian importers are circumventing those pesky Western sanctions by exploiting a loophole. How, you may ask? Well, simple. Goods from the European Union, ostensibly destined for neighbors in Central Asia and the Caucasus, take a slight detour. They never actually leave Russia at all. So let's break it down, shall we? In 2023 alone, a whopping $5 billion worth of sanctioned goods from the European Union ended up in Russia in this way. Goods destined for Kazakhstan, Armenia, or some other nearby country miraculously stayed within Russian borders. It's almost as if they took a wrong turn at the Polish border and decided that Moscow was a better idea. The clever trick: once the goods crossed the EU border, a few strokes of the pen changed the destination from Almaty or Baku to, yeah, you guessed it, Moscow. Voila! Sanctions evaded, goods delivered. This doesn't require any 21st century digital wizardry. No, just a few good old-fashioned changes to the paperwork, crossing out Kazakhstan and writing Russia for the delivery address. Belarusian customs officials are happy to play along because, well, why wouldn't they? This isn't an isolated incident either. It is happening on a massive scale, and Important Stories has identified numerous cases of goods transiting through Russia, only to never leave. And why shouldn't they? It's much cheaper for importers than going through third countries. The whole system is a farce, but an incredibly lucrative one for those involved. Russia may be banned from importing certain goods, but it's certainly not banned from creatively interpreting what transit means. All it takes is a little imagination, a lot of ink, and, of course, a complete disregard for international sanctions. Bravo, I guess. Alexander Lukashenko, always the master revisionist of history. In his recent interview with the BBC during the BRICS summit in Kazan, the Belarusian leader, known for his creative storytelling, managed to both deny reality and weave a new one at the same time. Asked about rumors that North Korea was sending troops to help Putin in Ukraine, he immediately dismissed them as nonsense. According to Lukashenko, Putin, that paragon of restraint, would never ask another country to send its soldiers to support Russia's so-called special military operation. Because, you know, Putin has always been so concerned about global diplomatic etiquette, right? But that is not all. Oh no. Lukashenko then went on to claim that Belarus never allowed Russia to use its territory to invade Ukraine in the first place. According to him, those thousands of Russian troops who happened to be in the southern Belarus were merely conducting exercises. And when Putin decided to withdraw them, they simply made a little detour through Kiev on their way out. You know, the scenic route. Nothing to see here, just a leisurely drive.
Никогда Путин, зная его характер, не пойдет на то, чтобы кого-то уговаривать, чтобы вооруженные силы какой-то страны ввязывались в конфликт в Украине. Особенно, как говорят военные, на передке. Ну, на линии соприкосновения.
То есть Северная Корея не отправляет
Я в это не верю. Я в это не верю. Ну и вчера северокорейцы заявили, что это гадание на кофейной гуще.
Of course, in Lukashenko's reality, it wasn't an invasion at all, just a spontaneous adjustment of travel plans. After all, what's a little trip through the capital of a sovereign nation on the way back from military exercises, right? The mental gymnastics here, truly at an Olympic level. Lukashenko continues to prove that he is in a league of his own when it comes to bending the truth. In other words, he's a master of retconning things. Which makes me think, why don't we put him in charge of Star Wars? Maybe he could just retcon all the bad stuff out of existence. Then again, he would probably make the Empire to be the good guys, so probably not. It appears that the Russian propagandists are no longer even trying to hide their desperate plans. In a recent broadcast, one of their so-called experts, Maxim Yusin, openly suggested that in the face of escalating conflict, it would be better to sacrifice North Korean mercenaries rather than their own conscripts. Let that sink in for a moment. Russia, the so-called global superpower, is now so starved for manpower that they are openly considering outsourcing their war to North Korean soldiers. How noble.
У нас будет выбор проводить мобилизацию, которая убьет нашу экономику, безумно невыгодно. Даже я только об этом говорю.
У нас такой рост сейчас из-за
лучше
этого.
Использовать. Все-таки, скажем,
это какое-то такое отложенное использование получается.
Тем не менее, лучше использовать чужие наемные войска, потому что мы, конечно, будем за это платить, это будут классические наемники, чем свои. А мы можем оказаться не в том положении, что нам придется выбирать. Понимаете как? А если выбор ставить туда наших необстрелянных призывников 18-летних или северокорейцев,
так.
а если вдруг попрут снова украинцы, как в Курской области, вот что вам будет легче? Наши ребята 18-летние или северокорейцы, вот
давайте мы сейчас сделаем
который там набирается
паузу.
This is the same regime that started its special military operation boasting about its unparalleled strength and readiness to conquer. Fast forward, and now they are discussing using foreign troops like pawns on a chessboard, while trying to shield their own draftees from the meat grinder of war. It's as if the propaganda machine has given up on even pretending that Russia's vast military can actually handle this conflict without external help. And let's not forget, North Korean soldiers aren't exactly known for their tactical expertise in foreign conflicts. But apparently, for Russia's flailing leadership, it is a better option to send them into the fire than admit their own forces are stretched to the breaking point. So much for the might of the Russian army. Now, it's quite telling, isn't it? Even rarely sober Russian propagandists like Andrei Gurolev, usually spouting endless bravado about their military's invincibility, are starting to question the reliability of their own air defense systems. These mouthpieces rarely seem to be both sober and sensible at the same time, and are reportedly convinced that if a long-range missile hits Russia, it'll be aimed right at their propaganda studio. Now that's a level of self-awareness we clearly did not expect.
Если мы говорим о том, что сегодня НАТО впрямую воюет, все разговоры, да, про дальнобойные ракеты, это первый удар будет сюда, вот сюда, в том числе вот сюда, вот, конечно. Вот в эту студию. Будут целиться. Вопрос долетит, не долетит. Но я вам как военно могу сказать, что все-таки вот даже при многоэшелонированных 7 ПВО 100% не бывает. Может быть 99. И из 100 одна прилетит зараза. И к этому тоже надо готовиться.
I mean, guys, come on, you're not that important. There would probably be a long list of strategic targets that would be way up the scale. And only after that, perhaps, someone might consider fire a missile at a TV studio. Probably not, but anyway. What is amusing is that these same propagandists who have been cheerleading Russia's unstoppable war effort suddenly seem far less confident when it comes to their own protection. The irony here is staggering. After all the grandstanding about Russia's invulnerable defenses, it seems that not even those who are paid to lie about the country's strength have any real faith in its own air defense systems. Maybe they have realized that no amount of spin or vodka can stop a missile when the air defense system is, let's just say, less than reliable. So now, instead of confidently predicting victory, they're anxiously waiting for that first strike, likely hoping that they will be off air when it happens. I mean, that would be embarrassing. However, if it does happen, there is a certain quote from Twitter discussions that you might remember that these guys could actually use in that very moment. That quote being, of course, the legendary, "What air defense doing?" And with this, we conclude this episode of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.